Today I thought we'd show you what curriculum we're going to be using next year for Mr. Larky Sparks back there. Larkin will be in pre-K next year, so we're just going to be really gentle with it. He's also going to be going to preschool 2.5 days a week just to help with his speech development a little bit, but the rest of the time we will be homeschooling. So the first curriculum that we decided to use, Torchlight. We're going to go with pre-K, Curiosity and Character. If you haven't heard about Torchlight, it's a literature-based secular program that has the most amazing book lists. Incredibly inclusive and diverse. Pre-K in particular has a focus on emotional intelligence. Torchlight starts every day with a poem from a celebration of the seasons by Margaret Weiss Brown. This actually comes with a CD, so you can listen to it too, but just a beautifully illustrated poetry book all about the seasons and little stories that happen at different times of the year. Beautiful way to start the morning. I've just now realised that I forgot to show you Outside Your Window, a first book of nature. It's another poetry book, again beautifully illustrated, beautifully written poems about nature. Pre-K has, as I mentioned, the focus on emotional intelligence. So the books that come along with that are a whole bunch of feelings and what do they mean. So again, just a really nicely illustrated book with a little story about a different emotion on every page. Really beautiful way to discuss different emotions with your child. Along with that, we've already been using this, and this has been really, really helpful for Larkin. So the I Heard Your Feelings conversation cards by Ebu. So what these are, on each card, just a little picture, no prompts, just a picture that the child has to figure out from looking at the cues in the picture what the characters are feeling and what's happening. And on the back there are some prompts for the parent. If you feel like your child needs a little bit of prompting, like, how does dog feel? How do you know what might make dog feel this way? So just a really, really beautiful way to get them to start being a little bit more aware of how people feel in different situations and how they might know how certain people are feeling. The next one from our emotional intelligence is Breathe Like a Bear. And I already know that this is going to be great for Larkin. Larkin at times can be a handful. He has periods where he calls that he's feeling busy, where he just needs to sit and calm down a little. So all of this is just beautiful little relaxation activities. Again, another beautifully illustrated book with little activities that they can learn some techniques to center themselves and calm down. For art with Torchlight, we're working through Art Lab for little kids. So again, these are just really, really great for the parent because they're step-by-step pictures. All of the activities, like majority of them, are done with a lot of art stuff that you will have around the house already, or things that you can collect like toilet roll tubes, things like that. Works across a whole heap of different mediums. And then some of the activities have a little Meet the Artist section where you can discuss how this technique relates to a certain artist's work. For science with Torchlight, there's a couple of books. You'll be working out of A Little Bit of Dirt. We've already done a few things out of here. This is great. Even if you're not homeschooling, even if you're not using Torchlight, get this book. Amazing activities to do outside with the kids that are just creative, but also help them become inquisitive little individuals when they're exploring in nature. Nature's Wonders is another science book, and this is just, again, little beautiful illustrated double spreads with a little story. Not a lot, great for pre-K years, where it's just a little tiny little bit of text about a certain animal or a certain natural phenomenon. There's bits on protective fur and things like that, just to start conversations. Look, I'm a Scientist and Look, I'm an Engineer. These are the last two books for science. Again, you're not going to be using these with Torchlight, all of them every day. Each week it'll pick an activity from one or two of these to do. But really great science activities to do with your younger kids, and just have a little discussion about some scientific concepts. Torchlight comes with math for pre-K. Now, I won't be using all of this. We bought these before we decided we were going to use Dimensions math. Larkin's very turned on when it comes to maths, so we decided we wanted to get him something a little bit more of a package deal to do rather than this, but we will still be dipping into this whenever he feels like it. But a lot of this, which is your main spine for maths with Torchlight for pre-K, he can already do. So again, that's why we decided to add in Dimensions maths. But it comes with preschool maths at home. And this would be great if you've got a kid who's, not been so interested in maths from an early age and is just starting with their maths inquiry. This is a great book. It's just lots of little activities to do with your kid that just starts with some basic maths concepts and activities and games in the back. These are the ones that we will definitely be using next year. Mobius Noodles. This is, again, just some fun little activities that just start them thinking about some interesting maths concepts. Yeah, really interesting book. And Socks Are Like Pants, Cats Are Like Dogs. Again, just another activities about sorting, about graphing, things like that, but just really simple and easy for younger students. These aren't part of the Torchlight curriculum, but we got them anyway. They were on the suggested list, and Larkin really likes helping out with cooking. So we got him Look, I'm a Cook to go along with Look, I'm a Scientist and Look, I'm an Engineer. Again, just fun little activities for kids to do in the kitchen. And then we also got him the big fun kids cookbook that he can work through next year and cook some fun things in the kitchen. Now, in terms of the literature, which is what Torchlight does best in my opinion, We don't have all of the books. We're buying them as we go through the year, and the books I have here aren't necessarily in order of what they appear in the curriculum. We're moving the curriculum around a bit to match better with our seasons here in Australia. Got Balloons Over Broadway, 100 Bugs Accounting Book, After the Fall, Miss Rumphius, A Tiger Called Tomas, The Best Bear in All the World. This was on the suggested list. We couldn't actually find the book that is required for this week, so we picked up this one instead, Strictly No Elephants. If I Built a House, The Day the Crayons Quit, Stella Luna. And again, this one was on the suggested list. We can actually get the one that is on the required list, but we already had this, and it's so similar to the one that they suggested that we're going to be using this instead. Love Makes a Family. Again, just realising I forgot to include butterfly counting. So that's all the books we have currently for Torchlight. So aside from that, we're just going to be focusing on mathematics, reading, and a little bit of handwriting. But the handwriting is actually more to do with his manual dexterity and helping him with those skills using his hands. So to start off with maths, we are going to be using Dimensions Math.
I make a lot of flowers.
Beautiful. You making a field of flowers?
Yeah.
We've already started with Dimensions Maths. We're about the end of chapter 3. He's been doing really, really well with it. He loves how colourful and picture-based it is. It doesn't require any reading skills on the behalf of the student at the pre-K level. So we'll be finishing off pre-K-A and we'll be moving on to pre-K-B sometime next year, whenever we're finished up this. For reading, we're using good old All About Reading. This was one of the first homeschool curriculums I came across, and we picked it up after looking at a whole heap of others. This one felt right. So he has already started this. We are almost at the end of lowercase letters. He already knows all of his letters and he's been working on letter sounds, but we're just going to finish off through this in the first half of next year so that we know he's got those skills down pat, and then we'll be moving on to level 1. All About Reading, if you don't know about it, is a really, really, really great program. It's based on a lot of games and activities. I can't show you any of the activity sheets because I've actually pulled them all out of the book and put them in his folder for next year. But there are a lot of, to start with, colouring in sheets that have little craft activities to do. Then it moves on to some cutting and pasting activities and things like that. It comes with 2 sets of readers that are just so cute. They are amazing. Do you like your All About Reading readers?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the pre-reading stage, it's still all black and white, but I believe from level 1 onwards, they've now brought out all the readers in colour, which look amazing. So we're going to be finishing out this, then assessing at the end of that whether he's ready to move on to level 1 or not. If not, I might just pick up a little bit of a different program for him to practice his letter sounds until the end of the year and start level 1 at the beginning of next year. The third program we're using, that would be fourth program we're using, I don't actually have here. We're ordering it from the US. Shipping from US to Australia takes a while. So it will be here by February, which we want to start on February 1st, but I can't show you right now. So I'll put some pictures up here. So the last program we were going to use is a late edition. We were planning to just use these for his pre-K year, but as we've been talking to some specialists about Larkin, it's become clear that he needs a little bit of help with his, not fine motor skills, but his pre-writing skills.
Mommy,
so
let's make a clock.
Shh, Mummy's just got to finish this and then she'll draw a truck, okay? So we decided that we are going to pick up
down here.
Handwriting Without Tears. If you haven't heard about Handwriting Without Tears, it's actually a really interesting program. It's a handwriting program, but it has been designed by occupational therapists. So all of the first level is really handwriting without a lot of actually handwriting. It's very manipulative heavy. They use big wooden blocks to build letters. They can also build Map Man, which Larkin is very excited about. Are you excited about Map Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. They start writing with little bits of chalk on a chalkboard and then they're wiping over it with a sponge. Lots of different ways of getting them to use their hands to get them ready to start picking up a pen. The reason why we were looking at this is that Larkin, for the longest time, has not been interested in colouring or anything. He's really not interested. He'd rather go build tracks and drive his cars around. So we knew we wanted to get him caught up on some of those really early pencil grip, finger dexterity things that he was a little bit behind in. The other thing that I think it would be really helpful for with Larkin is that Larkin has a little bit of anxiety about making any permanent marks on paper. If he doesn't think he can get it right the first time, then he just doesn't want to try. So we think that this program will be really good for him because it really delays making, any marks on paper with pencils, pens, anything like that. They're really working in non-permanent manipulatives for a long time. So those are the curriculums we're going to be using. We're going to be starting in February 1st, we're looking at starting. So I will definitely get back to you guys to catch you up on how the curriculum's been going and how Larkin's enjoying it. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you don't mind hitting like and subscribe, that would be great for me. Beginning channel, we want to get those up as quickly as possible. So thank you so much. Have a lovely day and see you next time. Say bye.
Bye.
Playing your games.